All right, welcome everybody. This is the STEAM Extravaganza. So as our last couple of folks are signing on, we can get started with a little bit of introductions. If you are here, you are at the STEAM Extravaganza. We're going to have someone manning the chat as we go through. So I saw we just had someone who had a few tech issues with their computer, but feel free, you can reach out to us through the chat at any point during the webinar. Our goal today is if you are planning STEAM programming for the year ahead, we're going to share some of our newest programs, go through some activities that you could take back to your students, give a chance for everyone to talk to each other, and hope for everyone leaves with some inspiration and some ideas of what you could bring back to your programs in this next year. Some of you may be familiar with us from PCS, but in case this is your first time, we started out as Pat's Computer School here in Idaho many years ago. For a while, we ran our own network of learning centers, and now what we do is work with programs all over the country. We provide kits and curriculum. We have all sorts of different programs, but everything we do is about hands-on STEM. So whether that's drones or dirt or the robots or Da Vinci programming we're looking at today, the goal is really how do we give students these really powerful, positive experiences that make them want to go on and explore what options might be available to them. So that really informs everything we do. As you guys know, that can look a lot of different ways. And so what we have planned for you today is some activities from our two newest curriculum. One is called Walk-in Robots, one is called Da Vinci. And these are the two that we are giving for the giveaway. So be sure you stick around all the way to the end, and everyone who is present will be entered into that giveaway and have a chance to win one of those programs.
Pretty good odds right now.
Odds are very good at the moment for everyone who's here. So to kick us off, we're going to send it over to Beth. She is joining us from Florida. Beth has been one of our instructional designers. For anyone that is familiar with PCS, you might know Beth from Pirate Camp, Science of Superpowers, Survivor, many of our other most popular programs. And so she has done a deep dive into Da Vinci to figure out what is so magical about this amazing scientific mind and how can you bring that knowledge to your students. So we're going to turn it over to you, Beth, to guide us through some Da Vinci camps.
Great, thanks, Michelle. Well, I'm excited to introduce everyone to Da Vinci Camp. Dare to be like Da Vinci by connecting the unconnected. In Da Vinci Camp, learners tap into their innate curiosity by exploring some of the questions posed by one of the greatest minds of all time. Through hands-on STEAM activities and creative thinking, learners investigate how subjects ranging from art to zoology are connected. To be like Da Vinci, we need to think like Da Vinci. He was guided by one simple question: I wonder. Today, we're going to test your observation and memory skills. This is a classic memory game that you've probably played before, and it's one of the many activities that's included in Da Vinci Camp. This activity requires audience participation. You're going to need a piece of paper, a pen or a pencil, so grab those now. And then there's going to be a screen. You're going to observe the items on the screen for about 15 seconds, and you're going to try to remember as many as you can. After that, you'll have about a minute to record your answers, and then let us know in the chat how many items you remembered. So let's get started. All right, here are your items. So take a close look, put them in your memory. You have about 15 seconds. Don't write anything down yet, just look. All right, about 5 more seconds. All right, commit the last one to memory. And now write down, so we're gonna forward the slide one. All right, so now you can write down all the objects that you can remember. How good is your memory? Let's find out. Finish writing your last item, and we're going to check and see how you did. All right, so let's forward the slide one so we can compare our answers. So how many items did you remember? There's actually a total of 12 items, which represent a topic or a material that's part of Da Vinci Camp. So the first thing, if we go from left to right, we have a ball of string or a yarn. So if you get these correct, make a check mark or circle them so we can tally how many you got correct. So ball of string or yarn. The second one is an alligator or a crocodile, a lizard or a reptile. Next is a mirror or a picture frame, a tape measure or a ruler. Now we're going to go in the middle and we have a brick, what we call bricks, or a Lego or a building block. And then we have a name written backwards, which is Leonardo da Vinci. Next to that, we have a colored pencil or just a pencil. And then we have the Mona Lisa, or it's a lady, a famous painting, or even just a person. And if we go to the bottom row, we have a pileated woodpecker, or just a woodpecker or a bird. Then a tree. And then we have that smiley face or a laughing face, an emotion or an emoji. Those will all work. And the final object is a feather or a quill. So how many did you get correct? Let us know in the chat. And maybe someone in Boise can read off some of the answers quickly.
Like we have 8, 10, 11, 11, another 10, 8,
Wow.
8, 8, 11.
Wow, these are some,
9,
I thought 8 was
11.
high.
7,
Yeah, those-
11.
that wasn't a lot of time to commit those to memory, so good job. So we're going to move on. So observation takes a lot of practice, and even Da Vinci spent a lot of time practicing the skill and recommended playing fun and simple games that we actually include in this camp. The next activity is called What Am I? And it's about naming something without actually using its name. So we're going to use the details to identify something. And according to Da Vinci, you have to observe these details or attributes of an object. And here are just some of the attributes we can use to describe an object. We have size, shape, color, texture, material, and function. So let's try it. I'm going to read 4 or 5 attributes of an object. Once I've read all the attributes, type your guess into the chat box. All right, let's go to the first one. What am I? I have orange and black lines. I have a rough dotted texture and I'm made out of rubber. I bounce when I hit a hard surface. And I'm used in different sports and games. What am I? Take a guess and type it in the chat.
We
And
have a
maybe-
lot of people saying basketball.
Okay, well, let's take a look. What do we have? What's the answer? Yeah, awesome. So it's a basketball. All right, let's see
No.
how you do on the second one. That one may have been a little too easy for you guys. We have some smart people on with us today. All right, so I am silver and made out of metal wire. There are 2 ends that are bent in an oval shape. My sides are straight and parallel to each other. I am small and light. And teachers use me to hold papers together. What am I? Type your answer in the chat. And just to let you know, this is an actual description taken from special military operations. This is an example that they gave when they do this game themselves.
We have a consensus here.
Okay, which is
Paperclip. Yeah.
paperclip. Wow.
Great.
Okay, let's see if I can stump them on this last one. All right, what am I? I have 4 legs and I'm covered in fur. My nose is black and my eyes are on the side of my head. I usually live on farms and prefer open fields. Some people use my fur called wool to keep warm. And the sound I make is bah. What am I? Type your answer in the chat. And for your students, depending on their experience and background, this one was a little bit harder for the kids that I worked with. So it was interesting to see what they came up with. And Boise, what are some of our answers? Do we have?
Yeah, we have a lot of people saying sheep. We had a few here that said sheep or lamb. So
Yep,
that's
it's
a
the
lot
same.
more specific. Yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
And goat, I had kids answer goat, and that's pretty darn close.
Mhm.
You can use the fur from goats as well, but they make a little different sound, but still very good, you guys. And observation skills is key to many careers, including the military. And like I said, this is an activity that they use to be aware of their surroundings and notice things that are out of place. So Da Vinci Camp is perfect for your 4th through 6th grade learners. It incorporates STEM, art, ELA, and social studies standards through hands-on and collaborative activities that also emphasizes that it's okay to be different or even nerdy. These are qualities that propelled Leonardo da Vinci into his status as a polymath, or a genius of multiple subjects, and one of the most influential people of all time. PCS Edventures provides everything you need for up to 30 learners, including all materials, a step-by-step educator guide, slides, and student journals. The camp consists of 12 one-hour lessons, and the materials come in one reusable plastic bin, making setup and cleanup super easy. So a couple months ago, I did a pilot on Da Vinci. I learned a bunch of stuff, but here are just some of the pictures. The learners begin their quest for knowledge as apprentices and graduate to journey persons, just like Da Vinci. Other activities include, so on the far left, we have mirror writing. Learners test different hypotheses and make their own conclusions on why Da Vinci used mirror writing. And then proper proportion was key to many of Da Vinci's discoveries and inventions. Learners use math and proportion to answer many perplexing questions, such as how do you describe the tongue of a woodpecker? And how do you measure the length of an alligator? They also learn how to use proportion to draw an accurate self-portrait. And then the kid in the middle, this is actually Da Vinci. So after the first day, learners transform into Leonardo da Vinci by donning a colorful cape, which by the way was illegal at the time. And they read an introduction from Da Vinci himself at the beginning of each camp session. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm actually wearing one of the capes that we sent. And finally, at the end of each session, learners color one box of a mystery masterpiece puzzle. At the end of camp, they cut out and arrange the puzzle pieces to reveal their own version of the Mona Lisa. So Da Vinci is sure to be a hit with your learners and educators alike, and we'll have them asking the question, I wonder. So thanks everyone for listening. And
so next up, we're going to be doing our second program. Thank you so much, Beth, for that overview of Rockin robots. Jan is on screen now, and he is our next presenter. He was the instructional designer for Rockin Robots. So he developed this curriculum, he tested it with a local group of first graders, and so he's going to share with us some activities and provide a little bit more information about this new curriculum title.
All right, awesome. Rockin robots. So we're going to start off with a whole group activity. And so we're going to see if we can, as a collective group, sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat, one person at a time, word by word. So if you'd like to participate, you can write your name in the chat. The way this will work is that each person is going to write one word of the song, one by one. And so you'll have to remember your own order. And so we are going to go row, row, row your boat. And I'll put the lyrics up for anybody who doesn't know them or needs a refresher. And so you'll have to look through the chat to know your own order. So we'll see if we can get this right. All right, if we're ready. So Amy, you can start. Gone off the rails a little bit, but that's okay. Nice, thank you.
Hey.
Yeah. So we ended with lots of good dreams. So fantastic work, everybody. As you may be able to tell, we've done that with Rockin robots. So that's part of our way of showing the students that, excuse me, that they can break coding up into something piece by piece. So when they're coding, that they're going to be breaking these down into step by step. So we actually break that song down with the students, and we go through the whole class, and we have a lot of fun and a lot of laughs. But it does show them that when they're coding, they're breaking these steps down into little chunks, and those are their coding pieces. So Rockin' Robots is a multi-subject integration for first through third graders. And it's just like all of our enrichment camps where we have 12 one-hour lessons. And this time we're starring the Sphero Indie Robot. So we really mix a lot of fun subjects together, like music and coding, technology, and ELA. And so the kids are really putting all of these different subjects together, and they have so much fun with it while they're coding these Sphero Indie robots. So a little bit more about the Sphero Indie. It recognizes different colored tiles. And so what the students do among the 12-hour lessons is they learn to code a different note to each of these colored tiles. And then they set up their own musical course. And so when they put the indie down on the green go tile, it'll drive on the course and it'll make different turns. But then as it goes over each tile, it plays a different note. So it's really, they're playing their own song. So by the end of these 12-hour lessons, they've created their own song. And so the first through third graders are really excited about that because it's their own song. They get to code it, they get to figure it out. And here's an example from our pilot of a first grader who coded their song. And they're really excited about making all of the turns and sharing their music. So I really wanted to fuse together music, coding, and technology and take them on a tour kind of all of these things and really showcase music as a major player among STEM. So they explore songs, craft instruments, investigate sound effects, and they design that melodic coding challenge at the end. Here's some more pictures. The pictures on the sides there are of students during our pilot. So we had first graders that I worked with, and the first graders on the outsides there, they are building and crafting their own drums. And so they're really excited to craft their own drums. And then in the middle, we have the students coding their own music challenges. So we really scaffold it for them and teach them all of these pieces, and it culminates with that melodic challenge at the end. And so they get really invested in learning about how to code, and the Sphero Indie makes it really easy and accessible for this age group. And just like all of our other enrichment camps, PCS provides everything you need for up to 30 learners. So all of the printed materials, all the materials they need to code and craft and have a really fun time. So it's really designed for a brand new teacher to pick these instructor guides up and just get started and get everybody coding and moving and singing and playing. So if you would like to put your name in the discussion or in the chat there for a chance to win the Sphero Indie Rockin' Robots kit. And I will turn it over to Michelle.
Thank you so much, Jan. As we're getting all those entrants into the giveaway, a reminder, you can enter one or the other or both. We are really excited to hear from you guys a little bit too, what areas of programming you're hearing the most interest in. So obviously we've been talking about the areas we've been focused in, but take a minute and think when you're talking to students and talking to parents and thinking ahead about what sort of plans you want to put together for your STEAM programs. What are those themes or topics or areas that you're really getting a positive response and getting a lot of interest in? And so after we've got everyone for the giveaway, when you've kind of had a chance to think and have your answer, go ahead and post that in the chat. And it's kind of a chance to hear from each other. What is it that you're hearing out there in the field that really is of highest interest?
I really love the combination of coding and music. I mean, it's just, oh my gosh, everybody loves music. And I'm sure that's one of a really popular option for enrichment, but then to add it to coding, it just is.
Yes, at the pilot every day, I think they were asking Jan, when are you coming back?
Yeah, big. And the ELA was really big in there too. They were really excited, especially at that age, to learn new words and how they connected those words to music and coding and
Okay.
technology.
Okay.
We're seeing some answers come in. So we've got artificial intelligence, robots with drones and coding, robotics, I mean, STEM in general. That's awesome. Hands-on engineering, that makes a ton of sense. Lots of robotics, drones, coding, this is some.
I really like the Rockin' Robots just because it really fills that need for the younger students. It feels like there's a ton, well, I shouldn't say ton, but more opportunity for engineering robotics for 4th through 8th grade, but for those younger grades. And I just, yeah, what a great fit.
And that's, yeah, I'm right here, unplug coding, and that with the tiles and the color sensors. I think you could do this all the way to engineer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Right. There you go. So we get that one a lot, you know, and this one really could. Oh, there we go with pre-K and K.
Well, and that would be great too, because I know that especially in California with their TKs, that's an area in which you know, we seem to have a lot for 1st grade and up, but they're looking for TK in kindergarten. So
I love this comment from Carla too, something that's educational but more fun than what they're
Mhm.
doing during the school day.
yeah,
That's
sure.
huge. And we really try with all of our stuff to make it not feel like school, even though there's ELA and math hidden in there, it
Mhm.
feels like it's just really fun.
Yeah.
I feel like Da Vinci has a lot of that hidden learning in there,
Mhm.
where they sneak a lot more into the lesson.
Yes, like you're doing fractions, but you don't even
Right.
realize. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we may get a couple other responses coming in. Ooh, cooking would be really fun. Hands-on math. The way you teach obviously is huge. Last someone mentioned music up above 4-2, which is an awesome tie into Rockin' Robots. We'll keep this coming as some are coming in. We wanted to highlight a few other programs that might touch on some of these areas. And this is perfect because robotics coding seem to be a really big theme from the answers. So Rockin' Robots would absolutely be the one that we've really fallen in love with for the younger grades. But if you're looking for something older that pairs well, Ready Set Drone for 4 to 8 is one of our most popular programs. So they learn how to fly drones, they learn how drones are used in the real world. Anybody can jump in, they're super easy, safe, and it really takes you through step by step everything you would need to know. So if you've got a 20-year-old AmeriCorps teaching for the first time, they would be totally fine to jump in. For codings, a lot of people mention this, the drones that come with Ready Set Drone are also codable. So drone designers is kind of our next level drone curriculum. They code the drones to move to music. So it has that arts tie-in too, and then they create costumes to really do this full musical drone performance. And then look at the people doing that in the real world for Metallica or Cirque du Soleil, some of these kind of big entertainment names. So these are some really fun ones if you're really looking to focus on technology. We didn't have this one come up as much maybe in the chat, but sometimes we hear from people that are doing a theme. And so this was one thing we had people doing that was land, water, and sea. And so they picked these different titles for the different age levels and then had it kind of have that continuity between all the different age levels. So if you're looking to do anything with environmental or earth science, pirate, ocean, or survivor are some really fun ones. Art is another one that comes up a lot. So Da Vinci obviously has a strong art component, but these are some of our top favorites if you're hearing from parents that they want some art. So Unleash focuses on a different part of the world and they learn about the habitat and the animals that live there every day. And then Traveling Artist for the older kids also goes to a different part of the world, but they learn about the folk art traditions. So they learn about Greek pottery, they do totem poles from Alaska. There's a ton in there for Japanese suminagashi, painting with water. And so it weaves in some science, but by doing a different art project every day. I love hearing this in the chat that some people have done Unleashing Traveling Artists. The community loved it. That's awesome to hear. Another one, maybe if you're looking for more arts and crafts, Summer Camp Classics is for the middle school level, but you can probably do it with a few younger. It takes all the classic summer camp activities and puts kind of a STEM spin on them. So they do make friendship bracelets, but they also do mandalas, they do team building, they build solar ovens, they make huge catapults for splatter painting. So it's really about creativity and problem solving, but in a really, like everyone was saying, kind of fun, not schoolish kind of way. So that's another artsy one if anyone's looking for more in that area. We had multiple people mention engineering. We've got a ton with brick builds here, but these are some others that people maybe don't think of right away for engineering. So dirt camp is for the littles, and so they really dig into the soil beneath our feet. They learn about the science, the plants that grow into it. Why do people care about dirt? And then they actually build with dirt. Sometimes they're building beaver dams or swallow nests. Other times they're building structures like people do and testing how to make it stronger. So that's been a really popular one for the littles. For the older kids, Build a Better World is all focused on different natural disasters and how do you build structures designed to support them. So whether it's a tsunami or an earthquake or a snowstorm, they get to a lot of engineering design challenges. And then for your oldest students, we have structural design. It has these Fisher Technic parts, which are kind of like next level Legos. So if you want to go really advanced, look at physics, engineering, that's a really good option. I'm seeing someone here talk about farmers' assets to teach about logic to help produce on a farm. That's awesome. And so you really could, that could be a whole theme right there, I guess. It's like an agriculture thing. That would be really cool.
Also, did we already mention gardens? Working with the garden.
Ooh, yeah. If anyone's got a school garden, sometimes we hear from people that they're looking to do something that pairs with that. They're already growing the plants, and this would really supplement that well. That's an awesome idea. This is something that we hear from a lot of people that are looking for ways to keep their older kids engaged in their programs. And so digital media arts have been really popular. We've got podcasting, video production, claymation. Podcasting is one of ours that can easily go all the way up to high school, where it can especially get a little bit tricky. Video game design is another awesome one. That's true that we can touch on that goes up as well. Someone also mentioned AI. So a couple others to highlight would be, we have a program called Blocksmith. And so it's a video game design software that you can then play your video games with VR glasses on if you want. And so it's a really cool way to integrate those technologies. And it now has an AI engine built in. And so your students can build video games using AI, which is very real world, kind of in the way we're going. So I know there's a lot right now with Chat GPT and how are we going to interact with it, but kind of a positive way to get kids using AI to create these really cool video games. So that's one that can definitely span all the way up. It has the VR production part as well. So we have a ton of different titles. I know we had a bunch of different topics that people mentioned that they were looking for. And so one of our favorite things to do is to talk to people and put together kind of custom solutions for your program. So this is just one example. We had someone that was looking to do year-round STEM programming, wanting something different for each grade level. And so this is what we put together for them. But obviously this is going to look different for each person based on your student interest, how much programming you're looking to do. And so I'm going to turn it over next to Susie. She is one of our STEM ambassadors, and she does this with folks all the time, and she can share a little bit more about that process.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Michelle. I see a lot of your names that I recognize on there. And shout out to Vicki and Jennifer and all the Fairfax folks. I know there's others on there that I saw, but so this is a great way, and I work with my customers all the time. It feels like our enrichment sets are wonderful and really are fulfilling for the programs to be able to use. Not only are they easy to facilitate, there's a lot of great themes. And one of the things that I don't know that we touched on heavily in this one, but is our curriculum and our lesson plans are very step-by-step. So for any new instructors, paraprofessionals, those that are working in out of school time, it's just a great setup. They're easy to facilitate, but also a seasoned educator can take this and kind of make it into their own. So part of what we offer is, how do I go to my, I kind of see, I screw everything up. I come in and then so part of what I like to do with all of our customers is talk with them more about their program. What are their needs? What are they looking for? Are they doing out of school time after school? Are they doing something in the summer? And we really like to take time with each one of our programs to make sure that it's a great fit and that we're meeting your needs. We know we have great programs, but we want to make sure that it fits in well with what you're doing. So we go through the number of students that you have, the number of program sites that you offer, even what your budget's going to look like, if you need help finding funding and grants. I know funding is always an interesting piece of what we do. But a lot of times the main part of my job is putting you together with a funding source, or if you have a funding source already in mind, I can help you with your grant proposal. And we're all great about that. All of our programs have been reinforcing regular school day, so they're standard aligned. But there's many opportunities there. So if you guys are looking to start up or plan for new programs, we would love to talk with you. And there's going to be a link here at the end of the session where you can just go in and set up a meeting with us. And we'll kind of go through again what your demographics are, your number of students, when you're looking for programming, and then hopefully be able to put something together for you, either like our full year or summer program, and even grade groups too. So if your programs are a little bit smaller, a lot of our kits will work for grade groups like 1 through 3 or 4 through 6, like you saw earlier. And I don't know if there was more we wanted to talk about on that end, or if we wanted to kind of get into questions.
Any questions? Maybe we could start
Okay.
this one from Amy here. It's a really good one.
Wonderful. So her question is, could any of these be organized to be done within 1 week of STEM enrichment camp, 2 hours per day? Absolutely. So all of these STEM enrichment kits have 12 one-hour lesson plans. So my suggestion is we kind of figure out which grade groups you're focused on, and then we pick one for each different grade level, depending on the number of students. And then we can set it up to where they're working on that specific theme for 2 hours each day. So then it could potentially, you might need to modify those, a little bit. But some of the programs or some of the lessons are standalone. Some of them build on each other. So we could kind of look through there and be able to identify which of those would be the best fit for not only that age range, but also for your themes of what you're going to do that summer. One other thing I'll mention too that I haven't already is that we provide great training and support. So with any of your orders, you do get a complimentary webinar, and that's with you and your educators. So, and you can log on from anywhere, but that's also a place where we can kind of help decide how, or give you recommendations on how to implement it. But we can do that prior to the order as well.
We also have a discount from Charlotte. She says her local library does hands-on STEAM projects in the summer, and they also have a monthly Lego session and monthly take and make bags.
That's awesome.
Anything you would think of, Susie, that might be a good fit for libraries or that kind of?
Absolutely. So STEAM Ventures is where they put together an individual brick lab or an individual brick kit, and then it comes with all sorts of wonderful curriculum. There's student activity books. It focuses in farms. Food, transportation, and flight. And then it has a total of 12 of those activity books. And that's an easy way to take things home. It's great for the family engagement. Or we can look at like famous architecture and zoo, because those have that student pages within them. We worked with, now I'm trying to remember, Sarah, City of Roseville. They used actually our traveling artist camp as a foundation for their summer program, but I know they were doing individual kits too. So I think that they were trying to put some packages together based on our curriculum, but for their traveling artist set, what they did is they used that as a foundation, and then they brought in other resources like library books, and they built in more SEL lessons and made this an entire an outline that was just a wonderful program. And I have a video of that too. I can send you if you're interested. We do work with quite a few libraries. We work with the Idaho Commission for Libraries here. We're based out of Boise, Idaho, of course, but we have this wonderful, it's called the Idaho STEM Action Center, and they grant funding for libraries and all sorts of informal types of learning environments. And so we work with quite a few of those folks too. It's a wonderful experience. Libraries have so many great resources. I'm just always so impressed when I go there. Does anybody have any questions on, I guess if it's something that you're interested in, you can also, I guess, put your name in the chat, or probably the best way would be just to see the link at the end. We can schedule out a meeting, and then I'd be happy to get in touch with you. We do some custom programming. Amy's like, how many more names do we need there?
First one that I
Oh, Amy Parks has asked, if we have Lego sets, can you just purchase curriculum and not materials? Absolutely. I think the only thing that I would recommend is the majority of our activities do require a certain inventory. So within our brick lab, we make sure that you have all the right material, manipulatives to serve up to 30 students building all of those activities. But we can go through that with you and share the nomenclature and what's included. But I get that question a lot. And the other piece is too, once you have a brick lab, it's easy just to add on that extra curriculum too. So you have the same foundational base, and then we have, I don't even know anymore, 10 different brick lab. I mean, there are hundreds of activities now with the bricks. So yes. More questions? Do we want to open it up just as a general question now? Or you want to do that? I didn't know what that next slide was. Oh, here it is. Questions. And by the way, these characters here that you're seeing are from our STEAM Ventures theories, and that's something that we can send you samples on too. If you go to our website, and Amy can probably put in this web address for how to get to curriculum samples, and that's one way to check out a sample from every single theme that we have available.
I think we don't have any other questions.
Okay.
It might be time for the giveaway. Are you ready?
Michelle, I'm gonna have you come back over because you guys
Can't
are
wait, someone else is sharing.
okay. Yep.
Good. Eureka will follow up about the downloads, but for now we're going to turn it over to Amy. Is this for Da Vinci or Rockin?
This one is for Da Vinci.
Okay. Jessica Luna.
Cool. Jessica, are you still here? Yay. Okay, we will follow up with you after the webinar to get you your prize. Well, we're getting the next one ready. Someone had asked, do we have curriculum downloads for Brick Lab? So we currently have them for everything but STEAM Ventures. It's been a popular request to have digital downloads for STEAM Ventures. So we will definitely reach out if that's something we're able to offer in the future. But for everything else, we will be able to offer a print version, a digital, and so you can really customize it to be what you want. Do we have any other questions as we're prepping the final giveaway?
Did we see that there was somebody here from Japan? That was probably our furthest one,
Puerto
right?
Rico,
And Puerto
yeah.
Rico.
I saw some
Rico?
from Puerto Rico. There was a comment in there that said more, but that's not where she's at now.
Oh, awesome.
Michelle, I don't know. Do you want to? I don't know if it's easy to get to, but do you want to show a curriculum sample?
So if you're looking for any of those resources that Susie mentioned, this is adventures.com. And then if you're looking for curriculum samples, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom and it'll give you this option here. And you can get a sample for literally any one of our programs. So Brick Lab Core is here, but if you're able to fill in a little bit more information, and then once you go and submit this, it'll give you an option to download any of the curriculum samples that are on there. Are there any other resources you often point people towards, Susie?
I really like, so there's that one. And by the way, you can click on this, download the Brick Lab core sample just to see one.
Oh, yeah.
And just to kind of see the format of it. Oh, this is one of our core. So it's gonna be a little bit different, I think, than what we do in our hands, or excuse me, in enrichment. But
Yeah, this would maybe be a good Brick Lab example. I could pull up a different one though.
you know what though, it does follow kind of along with.
It's pretty
It's pretty similar to our format. I think what I wanted to share earlier was that we include all of the materials that you need, the full schedule, the objectives of the program, the standard alignment. We offer questions asked to students, what those answers are, which are typically very open-ended, but we just give a lot of the background. So you can feel rest assured that you do not have to be a engineering major or a robotics buff in order to work with any of the STEM programs. And I think that's what's made them so successful. And we get a lot of feedback that our curriculum is just really well thought out and gives you a lot of great resources.
And because someone mentioned the slides, I thought it'd be cool to share an example of some of our programs do have slide decks that go with them. So this would be one example. This is from our traveling artist program. It's a really fun art one that we were mentioning earlier. This is the Suminagashi activity. And so this is what most of our enrichment programs look like, which is the materials. It'll walk you through the schedule. Here's, like Susie was saying, it has the background info for anyone who maybe has never even heard of Suminagashi before, any aligned standards that you can kind of see where it connects to what you might be doing during the school day. And then any prep, we try to keep it really simple so you can pretty much grab your supplies and get going. And then your step-by-step directions. So it'll have discussion questions, it'll have sometimes visuals and videos to go along with some of the activities. And then in this case, it'll have a little bit of that STEM discussion of how does this art work, and then some extensions that'll get you going. And then this is an example of what some of the student directions might look like. So we've got both print if you're kind of trying to do an unplugged version. And then we also, for this one, have a video that goes along with it. So how are we doing on the second?
We are
giveaway,
going to
guys?
do it by numbers in order of the people that are on here, starting with Jeannie Cherry. So
Is that by the
Yeah.
person? Okay, we're having a few technical difficulties. Thank you, guys.
Sorry, I just saw a name that didn't see her name in the first one, and so I thought it would be something where we could just easily add it to the second spin, but that didn't happen. And in the meantime, a name was picked and called, and so I think that we probably just to make it all very fair that Ida is our winner for the Rockin
Yes.
robots. I think that's probably
Yes.
most fair. So I'm so sorry, guys, that I botched that up.
But congratulations.
Didn't mean to upset anyone.
No, so we're gonna give it to Ida as the Rockin robots.
Yay, good job.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who is a part of this, their first time ever doing an interactive sort of webinar. So we're going to send a quick survey after. We would love to get your feedback. We'll be here for a little bit longer if anyone has any questions. I saw that someone raised their hand, but otherwise, thank you guys so much for spending this hour with us. It was awesome to be here.
Good job, Ida.